Welcome back to OpenLine. Talking about several things involving Metro government. The proposed soccer stadium out at the fairgrounds. Have with us Steve Glover, Metro Councilman, and a bunch of calls. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Rory. Hello, Rory.
Yes, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
You know, the fairground thing is something that's got out of hand, and it's something that we don't need another stadium here in Nashville. Nashville has already grown out of its britches. And the traffic out there is terrible now. You can't hardly, I'm 91 years old, and you cannot hardly move around for the traffic out there now. And another stadium in here, we just don't need it to appease a certain group of people. That's what it's all about. And the senior citizens, you'd be taking away their rights to have their flea markets and things out there that they enjoy doing. And I think it's a bad deal to take the fairground. It should be for all the people, and I believe it's a bad thing to take it away and put a stadium there. Thank you for taking my call.
All right. Thank you. That's right in line. I'm just going to go to the next call. That's right in line with what we've been hearing. Let's go to Nancy. Hello, Nancy.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay. I may be a little bit off topic, but I would like to ask some of the council, and I appreciate Steve Glover's opinions, but the property at the fairgrounds is so integral to the revenues we could generate using the fairgrounds. I would think it would be an excellent idea that the fairgrounds, I believe, is 118 acres, and the property where all the inmates are housed currently while the new jail is being built is also that same size off of Harding Place. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. But why couldn't we reserve the fairgrounds property to help the traffic situation and use the fairgrounds as a central hub for all of the way that Steve Colby had talked about doing, using the air carriages to...
Oh, wow. You're talking about the gondola, the traffic congestion.
Thank you. I'm nervous and losing...
Oh, no, that's all right. Boy, that's all kinds of stuff coming together. Okay. So she's thinking there are other uses. The fairgrounds, the bottom line, it's in a central location, and the last administration wanted to do something there. That failed. This administration is wanting to do something there. There is always going to be somebody saying there can be a use. That is incredibly valuable property.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the issues right now about giving away 10 free acres. You know, what is the true value of it? And we're cheating the people of Nashville, people in my district. Whatever it's going to cost us to do, it's going to cost us out of our own pockets to do so. You know, and this, I think she actually, and a couple others, have actually hit a central and a very core issue. What other things could we do? I've asked repeatedly, as have other council members asked repeatedly, what study was done on why it has to go at the fairgrounds? And we're told, well, that's just where they want to be. And I said, can you show us the study? We're going to get that to you. We've been having this conversation since last November. You want me to tell you about the report I've seen so far on they're going to get it to me?
Sure.
Nothing. They've ignored us, as they do so well. They're great at pretending like they're going to answer our questions and then not actually doing so.
I guess obviously we're hearing from people that love the fairgrounds, don't want it changed. Could there be an argument that something like a soccer stadium, which is, you know, soccer is the next generation, is that an appropriate use for a portion of that area out there to kind of create memories for the next generation? You know, here you have all these people that have great memories of the flea market and the racetrack. They're not talking about tearing down the racetrack. They're talking about soccer, which is the new sport of the future, all that. Can they not coexist?
Well, you know, I'm not certain, Ben, because, see, the racetrack, the Fair Board only extended a 5-year contract to them. They want to give a 30-year contract to the soccer stadium, and they want to do a 99-year lease on the 10 free acres. So is it equitable? No, because we haven't had a full discussion on it.
And before I take more calls, All right, we talked a little bit about what I call corporate welfare and some of the incentives.
Yes.
The owners of this soccer team are incredibly wealthy people.
Extremely.
How do you feel about the fact that they are being leased this land for 99 years and the money that the city is putting in to this project, to wealthy owners?
Well, I don't like it. I mean, I've said that from the very beginning. They've said it's a 90-10, that the city's only going to pick up 10% of the cost. That's not true. Out of a $13 million payment that'll be required on the stadium, provided we don't go over what the cost is. And let's go back and look at the Sound Stadium to see how that worked out for us. We're going to subsidize that at $4 million a year. So I take, and I'm really not that great at math, but if I say 13 million, 10%, I believe that'd be 1.3 million, not 4 million. So it is not a 90-10 deal. This is the taxpayers of Nashville, and this is where people really need to understand. We cannot accommodate the cost of living adjustments right now, but yet we're willing to spend another $4 million on a soccer stadium. That's taking the money out of the taxpayers' pockets and moving it to something that we have no idea what the true economic impact would be.
All right, let's go to Lucy. Hello, Lucy.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Well, Mr. Glover, I don't think you're grandstanding. I don't believe in everything, you've ever stood for in the city council, because if I did, that would be cult-like. But anyway, and that's how I feel about stuff. I don't believe in anything 100%. I've tried to use my brains, but here lately, with what's been going on between Nashville, the city, and the state, I think I'm losing my mind. I don't have any brains to apply to anything anymore. But, this is how I feel about it. I'm sitting here looking at the Noel Hotel. The person who owns that is a filthy rich person, too, and they got TIF financing for that. So convince me why they needed that money that they got. And the same thing with the Adams family with the Titan Stadium. That was such a bad deal. The way that contract was written in the Dell deal out there, which all of a sudden you see an HCA sign out there, and I'm wondering if they get the same tax breaks that Dell gets since they're headquartered something out there now. All these people got great contracts. The Titan Stadium, people have argued with me over this. We could not meet the annual increases in the maintenance and upkeep of that stadium, and that's where our library hours were cut. They quit mowing the grass around the libraries, the community centers, and then they cut the hours to this and whatnot. I watch the news. I go and use these facilities, and I couldn't use them anymore. And I couldn't afford to use anything that was coming in downtown. So I'm looking at where they redistrict districts here. That's called gerrymandering to me, to get a lot of stuff passed. They came into the farmers market, and they ruined it. Then they went around to property around the farmers market and used eminent domain to put people out of business to build luxury condos that sit right there at the farmers market.
Well, Lucy, okay, where's your question?
These same people were brought out to the fairgrounds, in my opinion, these at-large council members and whatnot, to destroy it. They moved the speedway to Lebanon, to Wilson County, and if you want my opinion, they want an MLS stadium. Take it out here to that empty stadium, that raceway sitting out there in Wilson County, and keep our fair and the fairgrounds here, period.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
I would imagine the MLS people, and Lucy, I appreciate your call, they would love a discussion about the Titans. I mean, I think there are people that think, that people were opposed to the Titans, and they've brought some good publicity to town, and they're certainly part of our city now, and embraced by a large number of people.
Sure.
They would welcome some sort of. Do you see that as comparable, the Titans in this?
So here's the difference between the Titans and this deal. The Titans was a referendum. We, the people, went out and voted on it and said that, yep, we agree, we want this. The people don't get a vote on this. Actually, they did get a vote. They said, don't mess with the fairgrounds, and the administration says, we're not listening to you. We're going to do what we want to do. So actually, there were votes on both sides, but there's some people that said, no, we're going to do it this way. You don't know what you're talking about.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.